Yeah, I read a book a day for years.
Are you kidding me?
No, most of it was science fiction. I had a neighbor across the street who had a huge science fiction collection, a whole wall, and he used to let me come in there once a week or so, and I'd pick like 7 or 8 books and take them home and read them, and then I'd come back and get another 8.
From what age?
10 probably.
1 a day?
Yeah, that was my goal.
Now, are you a speed reader? Do you go through it?
I'm a very fast reader.
Were you always fast back then as well?
Yeah, I learned to read when I was very young. My father taught me to read when I was very young, and I'm very fast.
So where did the debate come from? Where did your ability to be able to listen, process, respond, where did that ability come from?
I mean, first of all, I try to be over-prepared in some sense. So, I mean, I believe that if you're going to give a 20-minute lecture, you should have an hour of material at hand. And this is the hard part. And I can do a lecture without doing this, but it's better if I do this. This is the hard part. I'll sit down for 20 minutes with my eyes closed, and I figure out what the central topic is. So there's always a question. What's the question I'm trying to address in this lecture? And then I'll figure out a pathway through it. It's like, okay, well, here's the argument. Here's point 1. Here's point 2, here's point 3, and there's possible branches off those. And then with each point, I usually have a collection of stories and facts that I can use to make the point.
Validate the point.
Yeah, and to buttress it and to make it interesting. And so it's a little bit like improvisational jazz, I would say, or even improvisational piano, because I play a little bit of piano. And so you lay out the story, and then you can use the responses of the audience to guide how you're going to walk through it. And so if I'm building things, because I like to do carpentry and fix houses and that sort of thing, and so I like to build things. And if I'm figuring out how to build something, I can picture it. And so I can think in pictures, but I don't usually think in pictures. I usually think in words, and I think pretty formally in words. Like if I'm sitting down, let's say with the Kavanaugh issue, there was a question. The question Eric Weinstein asked was there an alternative to him being confirmed or not confirmed? Because he sort of thought both of those wouldn't bode well for the country. And I thought, okay, well, what could the option possibly be? So I think that through in words, and then think, well, he could be nominated, and then how would I feel in a situation like that? Well, my nomination would be very contentious. Is there a way that I could help dampen the contentiousness and still retain my reputation? Thought, well, you could be nominated and resign. What would be the advantages to that? And then I lay out one side of the argument, and then I lay out the other and another and another, and have an argument and like an
with yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Got it.
Yeah, basically what you do, and this is really what you do when you think, is you know, if thinking is an internalized conversation, which at least is one form of thinking, is that you spin off avatars of yourself. And you say, well, you take this position, and you take this position, and you take this position, and then you have each fictional part of yourself lay out the argument and argue it through. So, for example, when I write, so that's another thing that I've done a lot of to prepare for my lectures. You know, I've written 2 books, and one of them took 15 years. I wrote 3 hours a day for 15 years every day. That was the first book.
That's a technical book. It's a very technical book.
It's a very hard book, that. So I laid out that argument, but the way I did it was, well, first of all, you generate your ideas. Okay. That's the first part. There's actually a technical process that goes along with this. I use a computer in a particular way. So imagine I've laid out an essay. Okay. Well, then what I'll do is I usually use 2 screens. I take a paragraph out, put it on the other screen, break it into sentences. Okay. So I put spaces between all the sentences. Got it. Then I look and see if the sentences are organized properly, if that's the proper order. Try to reconstruct them so that they make more sense, they flow better. Then I take each sentence one at a time and try to write a better version of the sentence, maybe 3 or 4 times. And every time I try to write a better version of the sentence, I try to think of all the ways that sentence is wrong and could be fixed. So at the level of the word, at the level of the phrase, at the level of the sentence. Technical. Oh, you bet. Like for Maps of Meaning, the first book, I probably wrote every sentence in that book 50 times.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no, absolutely. And then, well, there's more. So then I'll put the paragraph back together, and if it's better than the original paragraph, then I'll put it in. So then I have a replacement for it. But then also imagine it's a chapter. Well, then the chapter has a structure, so I'll outline the structure. So this is real helpful too if you're writing a chapter. It's like, well, boil it down to 10 sentences. So you've written a chapter
down to 10 sentences.
Yeah, you got a chapter, write a 10-sentence outline. And that forces you to condense what you wrote. And with 10 sentences, you can see the argument. Does that argument make sense? And if you do that 3 or 4 times, then you have a very, very tight argument.